Hi, this is James from the Hornbill Technical Support team, and this is a short tutorial to go over the creation of a new business process and to configure each individual stage within. So if you've seen the previous two tutorials for BPM, you'll know that we've currently got to the stage where we've defined our stages within our business process. We just need to link what individual actions we want to do against each stage. So the first thing I'm going to do is within the change information, if we go into that stage, we now need to define status values for each one of our stages. So what I'm going to enter in here is one value for us working on this stage and one value for when we've completed this particular stage. So here we're kind of gathering the information, so I'm just going to add a new stage status value. So I'm just going to say gathering information, and maybe got information. There we go. So I'm going to do that for all of our stages. So this is classification. So maybe I want it to be emergency change, retrospective, maybe minor change. Okay, and also one for being classified, so we don't know what kind of change it is. So depending on these particular selections, when you're logging the call, or once you're actually on the call, will depend on where it goes. So we'll go to that into more depth soon. But if we go into the authorization now, again being so awaiting authorization. Maybe you're authorized. Maybe even rejected as well. Okay, and next one. Maybe work in progress. Work completed. And within the last one, being reviewed and reviewed, okay to close maybe. There we go. So that's all of our statuses done for each stage. Now we need to start tying these things together. So at the moment, once you choose these particular statuses, they're not going to go anywhere. So when I go into the change information, what we have is an on start and on status change, and what these are doing is these are checking the status value, and depending on what one you choose, it will do an action for you. So the first thing I'm going to do is, because this is the first stage, what's quite a handy thing to do is I'm going to set the, let's copy that a second. I'm going to set the when the call's been logged to automatically appear with gathering information. So I'm just going to click on new. So that's maybe on start. Gather information. So what I'm going to do is keep this blank. So automatically when the call's been logged, that's going to appear as blank, the BPM status. And I'm going to set the standard action so that so you can see here you can do so many things. You can email people, you can move it to another group, you can change priority, you can do loads of things. I'm going to set that to my James process, and I'm going to keep to the change information stage. That's the first stage, and I want it to show with gathering information. So that means as soon as it's logged, it will say gathering information. So now what I want to do is the same thing with, I've got the information. So on status change this time, I'm going to choose got information from the drop down list here and click on add, and maybe just a title, go to next stage, And then if I go to the standard actions here, within the workflow, again I'm going to select the James process. I'm going to go to classification this time, and with the status I'm going to choose the in progress one, so being classified. There we go. So I'm just going to do that for every single one now, so I don't need to do an on start here because that's automatically going to show with being classified. So I'm only going to set this up maybe for emergency. And on status change, go to next stage, and as soon as it's got to where is it gone? Sorry, yes, emergency. So as soon as it goes to emergency, I want it to then go to the next stage, which is the authorization. So James process, I want to go to change authorization, and I want it to go to awaiting authorization. And add. Next one. So on status change, BPM status is, so it's set up 2 for this particular one. So when it's authorized, I want it to go to the perform the work, and I want to set the status to work in progress, and I'm going to set up another one, go to closure, which means maybe it's been rejected. So James process, maybe I'll go straight to the review and close being reviewed. There we go. So a couple more to do. So this is now work completed, and I'm moving it to the review stage. Being reviewed, there we go, and just at the last one I'm going to basically automatically close the call. So once it's finished reviewed, okay to close, I'm going to add that here. I want it to close it, so I'm going to set status up here to resolve the call. There we go. So effectively now what we have is a process that's all linked together. So what I'm going to do just to prove that is I'm going to log the call. One thing we do need to do is obviously make it active. Of course, one thing we do need to select what the first stage is. So I'm going to go change information and tick the box for active. There we go. So let's log a new change. So let's log a test call. We'll see that James process is there. So I'm just going to select any old SLA against it. Log and accept. Yep. So the first thing we'll see is that it's on the change information. You can see at the top here, and you can see that it's gathering information. Because I set the on start process, that's why that came up. So to move it to the next stage, which would be the classification, I'm going to say got information, save changes. That's going to move on to classification, being classified, so you're going to say it's emergency, move on. So it's now it's authorization, so we're going to go for authorization and tasks in another tutorial. Let's say it's gone to authorized. You'll see it's moved on, and maybe completed, review, okay to close, done. You can see call resolved. So that's how to get the process to move in between the stages. The next thing we're going to do in the next tutorial is to set the progress against them and see how that appears in self-service, and we're also going to tie in authorization and tasks.